In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, hello everybody, how are you doing? We'll be doing great by the grace and mercy of Almighty Allah. My name's NA Saqib. I'm your husband, IELTS trainer. Additionally, I've been also teaching the students of spoken English for the last 20 years at the platform of Genius Institute, Lahore. We offer in this institute online classes and on-campus classes as well. So today's lecture would be about academic reading of IELTS and about its overview. We'll try to have a general overview of the reading subtest of the IELTS today in this lecture. So let's get started. First, about its time duration. The academic reading test takes 60 minutes. It means it takes 1 hour completely. And how many questions? There are 40 questions to be answered. 40 questions. And how many passages? There are 3 long passages with a total of 1500 to 2000 words altogether. So 1 hour, 40 questions, 3 passages, 1500 to 2000 words altogether. What are the sources of these reading passages here in academic reading, I beg your pardon. So the reading passages are taken from either magazines, journals, books, and newspapers. So these are the sources of these 3 passages. Here, I would like to just mention one important thing. The many test takers, students, or the candidates consider IELTS to be frightening experience, or they think it to be difficult or tough experience. They've got good reason of thinking like that. Actually, the students have to read 3 long passages, each with several paragraphs. Sometimes the paragraphs are captioned like A, B, C, D, E, F. So 3 long passages, lots of paragraphs in each passage, and you've got to answer 40 questions. Generally, 13 to 14 questions for each section. Here, now the question arises, do the students have some extra time, like the listening, to transfer answers at the end? My answer is big no. There is no extra time given at the end to the students to transfer their answers. So in the reading test, no extra time is given at the end to transfer their answers onto the answer sheet. Time, as I told you, it could be your worst enemy, so it's important to keep in view the time management. So we'll talk about the time management later on, how you can manage your time accurately with a lot of discipline, and how you can come up with the expectation of answering 40 questions. Actually, the students have got to do 3 things in these 60 minutes. I will just let you know about the detail. First of all, an hour is allocated to the students to finish reading the questions, first of all. This is to finish reading the questions, number 1. Reading means understanding as well at the same time. Number 2, locating the answers. Reading questions, understanding them, and you got to see what is the location of those answers. And number 3, transferring them onto the answer sheet, because no extra time would be granted for transferring the answers onto the answer sheet in the reading subtest of the IELTS, unlike the listening. So 3 things. Number 1, understanding the questions, locating the answers, and transferring them onto the answer sheet. You got to do all these 3 things in 1 hour, and there is no extra time for you guys. Now, the question is whether the students should write the answer onto the answer sheet in order, or they can write down with their own convenience the answers. So my answer would be you are not required, as far as the instructions of the examination are concerned. There is no as such requirement to transfer the answers onto the answer sheet with the order. So you're not required to answer questions in the order in which they are asked. What should happen if there is not any understanding of the question and you can't find the answer? So my answer would be move on. If you can't get the answer to the question, move on and attempt the next one. Why it is so? You can always come back later. There is no any restriction that once you have been through certain questions, you can't come back later. You can always come back later. So I would suggest you to answer easier questions first, because by the time you do all the easy questions, you know more about the text. So then solving the tricky questions might become easier. So attempt the more easier question first, and then you will be familiar with the text and it will become easier for you to attempt the difficult or the tricky questions. So that's everything about it. I talked about the format, and the students who understand about the format, they are always at an advantage because they know about the ups and downs, the pros and cons, and the format of the test. So it becomes easier for them to handle that test in the examination hall. So understanding the IELTS format is always an advantage, and make sure you are familiar with how IELTS testing works. That's it. Thank you very much indeed for listening to me patiently and attending this lecture online. God bless you all. I'll reappear with another video. Until then, God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye.